Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back here to my channel where I play PineHut Zoo. My name is Nisse, and just a friendly reminder that this have been pre-recorded so I could finish the zoo before the newest DLC, the Twilight Pack, so therefore there is maybe some things in here I would have done differently if I have had all of the props from the new DLCs, and there's maybe also a few things, for instance, plans and so on, that would have looked better in another way. It was also a rushed job, but I still really like the results, so I still really want to show you. So I hope you like it. And before I forget, this is of course in PineHut Zoo, my little Taiga Zoo that was my play project with some storylines I really wanted to play with. So therefore, welcome to my playground, basically. And yeah, today we built for the timber wolf, and wolves overall have a little confusing family tree. I thought I would do this kind of the same that I did with the moose and go over the subspecies and species and talk over all about the species. However, it's very difficult to do with wolves. For instance, the main wolves don't live in packs, they live in pairs, a male and a female the most, or totally solitary lives, where other wolves lives in these big wolf pack that they are more famous from. So therefore it's really hard to talk about wolves overall, so I'm gonna try to stick to the timber wolf today. However, timber wolf isn't the only name for it. It's more commonly known as the eastern wolf, or the eastern timber wolf, or the Algonquin wolf, but the most most used name for it is probably the eastern wolf. So anyway, if I use any of these, I mean the timber wolf, I will try to stick to timber wolf, but it is not on purpose if I mess it up. The timber wolves overall is a species of wolf. Some people think it's a subspecies for either the red wolf or the gray wolf, but it is a species on their own. They can stand alone, and they are not anyone's baby sister or anything like that. They are their own thing. They are also typically confused with a coyote because of the build they have. They are a little more slender, and they also appear very much like the Alaskan Husky, which is one of my favorite dogs. But again, not the same, not even close. So they have this reddish to light brown fur, and then they have this longer hairs that are typically black. Again, there are rare occasions where these things change, but the normal variation would be reddish to light brown and have this black longer hair that gives this dimensions of color in the fur. You can also, if you know a wolf over time, you can actually help to tell the age of it a little bit by the blackness of its fur. Of course, you need to know how it started out, because some have more dark fur or black fur than others. However, normally they have a certain amount they are born with, and then when they age, when they grow over, instead of becoming gray like most animals, again the brownish color becomes more gray, but the blacks doesn't. They keep being black, but they also add more black hair, so it will be more like a grayer base coat with age, but a blacker top coat, if you can think of it that way, the older they get. I just want to mention, I can hear this weird thing on the mic today. I have no idea where it comes from or why. It wasn't there when I recorded an hour ago. I hopefully figure it out at some point, but until then I kind of need to record this because I'm on a time crunch at this point, so sorry for the sound quality, but I hope you think the facts and the build is worth it anyway. The timber wolf, or eastern wolf, again confusing. The timber wolf here live both in Canada and the US. That's mainly in Quebec, I think it's called, Ontario, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Manitoba, I think. Again, not all over, but again, they will stay in these colder area, and they can actually also survive in a polar climate and all the way down to temperate. However, wolves that live in more temperate biomes will search further north through the summer. This also makes them mix in perfectly here in our taiga biome, and they live both in these more open areas, but they also prefer these forests, not these small, closely planted forests, but these older broadleaf forests that you can find around in these cold areas, kind of untouched forests with these giant broadleaf trees to kind of not isolate them, but to kind of cover them a little bit from both the wind, the snow, but also from the view of humans or other big animals. Timber wolf lives in these pack like most, and notice I say most and not all wolves does, build up of a breeding pair that's most likely will be some kind of related to the rest of the pack. The female will be from other places normally, but the male will breed with the female, and then the female babies will leave the pack, and the male babies will add to the pack, which is kind of the opposites that we have seen with a lot of monkeys, for instance. But a lot of people think of wolves like there's alpha, there's beta, and omega, and most people I think this comes from werewolves or mythology, that the alphas are the deciders, and then you have the betas that is the pack, and the omegas that have no pack. Basically, if you have no pack as a male, you will probably die pretty soon. The female is the one that mostly decide for most subspecies of wolf, or most wolves overall. It is the female who decides who the alpha of the pack is, and she can set aside her mate at any time, basically. So therefore, the male alpha is only alpha as long as the female bitch, and this is why it's you call a woman you don't like a bitch. It's named after the female bitch because she decides everything. However, from the alpha male and female, it's not just betas there is. From there, you still have a specific structure of the pack because you really need everything to work. So therefore, everyone have a space. The female's pups are normally very high regards until they grow too big for her to care about them, basically. But besides that, you will have the next in line, not necessarily like a king next in line, but like the next strongest male. And these smaller hierarchy positions won't be decided by the female. She can choose to intervene, but in generally, this will be based on who is the strongest. Again, she can go in and stop a fight at any time if she wants to, but basically she will leave it up to them. But this is important because this decide, for instance, which order they eat in. Is this really important? They can just catch something else. Well, they live in these very cold, very bare areas where there's not always food for everyone to go around. So, if you for a time as the lowest member of the pack don't get enough food or not get any food, then at some point you will have to make a choice. Either you stay and hope the pack can catch something bigger soon, or you can leave. That's the two choices you have to pick between. If you choose to stay and there's not enough food, then at some point you either have to fight someone higher in the hierarchy and therefore probably stronger and bigger than you to kind of try to move up and eat earlier, get an earlier slot at dinner, or you will have to leave the pack. And that's why in these places where they live, it's not uncommon through a harsh winter to find lone wolves. If they're lucky, they may be able to build a pack on their own. Maybe if a few of them choose to leave at the same time, that would be the easiest way. Or they can be even luckier to find a lone female that just left her own pack, just gotten old enough to leave her own. This way they can build a new pack, but they need a female to do that. They can for some time function only males, but there's a lot of things, and it's not to be sexist at all, but there's a lot of things that it's like a beehive killed a queen bee, and the rest of the bees don't know what to do. That's kind of the idea. I'm not saying it's the same with humans, it's just that's how it is with a lot of different kinds of wolf, and especially the timber wolf. And now I made it look like a really good idea to go out and build your own pack, and it can be. But you will run into troubles. For instance, you need a territory. And probably everyone that was forced to leave was either females that just gotten old enough to leave, so they are very young and very not that big yet, basically. But at the same time, the males that was forced to take the choice of moving out was the ones who wasn't strong enough to keep a good place in their own pack. So therefore, if they want to take territory from another pack, a more established pack that have been there for generations, they are gonna get a fight on their hands, and they rarely want to do that. So even though they can make a new pack, they still need to give far enough away to find an area of their own. And this can give issues, especially if there's a lot of humans in the area. So again, this, you can get the picture at this point, this all runs in a circle. So for everything in the world, the wolves don't want to leave their pack if they don't have to. Again, they don't want to starve, but if they don't have to, they really don't want to. Now, another feature I think most of us actually know about the wolf is this howling. But why do they howl? It's actually because of their territory, which is again very, very big. I thought it was 150 square kilometers, and that's a lot. That's really, really a lot. So therefore they need to be able to tell where each other are, and they basically don't have cell phones. So the easiest way is just to yell out for each other. It can also be a comfort sound, like to comfort each other if one of them are stressed for something, then to try to comfort each other. But most of it is kind of showing I am over here, and especially when they need to keep others out of their territory, they will howl and have different sounds for different things. For instance, I found an intruder, come out here fast, or bear, stay away, something like that. They have different sounds for different things, so the wolf that charge towards it are aware before they actually get there. Now, wolf is of course carnivores, and when they are in packs, they will take out really, really big hoofed mammals that, for instance, include elk, deer, or even moose, reindeer, and so on. These bigger ones. But they need the entire pack to be able to do that, and they actually have a lot of different techniques to, for instance, a moose, especially a male moose. Normally a few of the lower level wolves will charge it head on to allow the higher level wolves, yeah, you can see I'm making quotation signs here because higher and lower level, Yes, but the higher placed wolves in the pack will sneak around and attack it from behind. So it's really a technical attack. It's not like we are gonna hunt it down like lions, for instance, do. However, the ones that are out of a pack will settle for something way smaller, like beavers, for instance. But again, the pack need to feed everyone. A lone wolf only need to feed one. When it comes to mating and all of that, I actually needed to verify my own belief on a few different sites because this website that I normally do don't agree with me. According to these, they are monogamous, which means they mate for life. But the thing is though, if a alpha male dies and the female don't get another alpha male to mate with, then it's the end of the pack basically. We have shown that either a younger brother of the male or a son of the male will step up and become the new alpha male. But he don't have a female, so what do we do then? It is, however, also shown in some examples where the female basically go in and picks. For a time, she will allow more fights in the packs than she usually allows. Again, keep in mind that fights is something that wolves do, but it's not practical for the pack because they don't want to hurt each other, so therefore it's ingrained in the bitch, the alpha female, to stop these fights, but she will allow other fights for a time being, and afterwards she will pick her new alpha. Again, this will of course normally be a younger brother or a son of the old alpha, and again over time when the female alpha dies, then the pack will hope someone else stop by at some point, or maybe she have a female pup that haven't left the pack yet that can take over. But it is the bitch who decides, so therefore they will need her to be okay with the new alpha no matter what. Again, this is a little argumentative, but it's because it's been proven, according to some sites, that they believe that the wolf's male would just step up and get the place is what you see in captivity, and then he would get a new female. But in the wild, these females can be hard to come by, so therefore they are way more precious than the males, especially because a certain amount of the female will die while moving around after leaving their own packs. I know with other kinds of wolves, such as here in Denmark there's a zoo, I think they have the Arctic wolf, where they actually had a male they assumed were gonna be the alpha. It's a completely new pack that they actually inherited from another zoo that couldn't have them anymore, because it basically, after people wanted to give them more space, they wasn't able to do that, but this zoo in Denmark was, so therefore they got this entire pack, but there wasn't a bitch in the pack. So of course they assumed that when the bitch arrived, she would pick the old alpha because he's the oldest and the strongest male, but she basically just didn't like him. Then he was allowed to stay in the pack, he became a beta, but she chose one of his youngest son that was one of the biggest wolves. We'll clarify, it wasn't like she took the weakest one, but she took one that was much younger and smaller than the original alpha. So here you can see one example, but again it wasn't timber wolf, this was Arctic wolf, I'm pretty sure. And again, wolves aren't all wolves, there's a lot of differences in their behavior between species of wolves. I of course can't verify these informations because I was in a zoo a few years ago where they had this animal talking feeding time thing, and that's where I got it from, so I can't really link anything to verify that, but it's just, you know, a story that I really thought would be worth hearing for a lot of people. When it comes to the timber wolf, or also called again the eastern wolves, it's because the website here calls them that, uh, there is at this point less than 500 individuals lived in the wild. However, when you go to the IUCN list, they are not evaluated. It's just a NE from not evaluated. And that's probably because it's just like the lions. You have the West African lion, Northern lion, and Asiatic lion under one umbrella. So I'm pretty sure either they are all wolf under one umbrella, or a group of, for instance, North American wolf under one umbrella, one of these. So even though the numbers are low for this particular wolf, doesn't mean that it is for all the wolves. However, I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of wonderful people out there in the world trying to help these wolves out in one way or another. Anyway, guys, enjoy the cinematics and I will come back afterwards. So guys, that's it, and I really hope I managed to really combine this kind of several part habitat. I think this video was a little bit long, but I hope you're here for it. And again, I don't understand the walking on water thing. I don't think Jesus have any great grandchildren that are wolves, as far as I know, so it's a little bit weird, but besides that, I'm really happy with it, and I hope you like it too. So as always, you know the drill, guys. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. I really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye guys.